Man. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back, everybody, to Reading with SHILO. What's up, baby? This is part 13. This is part 13 of the Black Jacobins, chapter 8. We're getting into today, man. We are getting into it. I was supposed to get with y'all last night, but man, it was not in the plans. It's not what happened. It's not what happened. And I was up, but hey, for some reason, I just didn't push myself to come read, man. I didn't get out the bed. Stayed in the bed. For some reason, man. But we're here. We're here today. And I ain't got time to waste. Because I'm trying to get to the fishing hole. I'm trying to get to the fishing hole. But I'm going to read for about an hour. That's first and foremost. Read for about an hour. And see what's what. What can we learn and grow from? What treasures await us? What treasures await for us in the Black Jacobins? Oh, man. The Black Jacobins. And so far, there's a lot going on. Toussaint was handling this business. Toussaint was making a name for itself, kicking ass and taking names. So I'm ready to read some shit so we can get it out the way. So me and the fish can play. Head down to the fishing hole. First, we got to go dip for some crawfish. You ever dip for crawfish? I don't eat crawfish, but the fish do. The fish eat them. So since the fish eat the crawfish, we might have to go get us some to see what's biting in that water. I already got worms. I might take my thing so I can get us some grass shrimp. See if we can catch some grass shrimp. They bite on that too. See what's happening. It's supposed to soon be time for the sacculator to be spawning. So I want to head out there. I know I'm late, but I want to head out there to the fishing hole to see what I can catch, if anything today. If anything. Shalom, Car. What's up? What's EDC mean? I ain't tripping. 0 fans don't mean nothing. I got to keep pushing. Shit, man. It's staying in my bag. I haven't really been carrying it. I got a little Taurus G23. Taurus. And then I have my Springfield. I like that better. My Springfield 40 cal. I like that better. It fits better in my hand. But it's so big. It's big. It's too big. There's so many acronyms for things these days. Hey, once you said everyday carry, I understood exactly what you said. But that Taurus, it fits. It's small. It fits right in there. But anyway, we're here to learn some shit today. We're here to learn some shit today, to read some shit, and see what treasures await us in the sea of pages that Mr. C.L.R. James has laid before us today. We are in chapter 8. We are almost halfway through the book of Mr. Toussaint and the San Domingo Revolution. And it's a lot of headway that has been made. Chapter 8 is called The White Slave Owners Again. in the last chapter, the French had finally given or abolished slavery and given the free blacks, or the last two chapters had given the slaves, the mulattoes, the free blacks. They granted them all their freedoms by the decrees. And since they granted them their freedoms, they've been having uprisings again. The mulattoes didn't like that. Since the mulattoes didn't like that, the mulattoes were conspiring against Toussaint, and some of them to their death, to their detriment. So I bet if Toussaint I wonder what Toussaint everyday carry was, but Toussaint showed himself to be a more honorable man than a lot of the people who was, so say, following him. Toussaint won a lot of victories without bloodshed, and he prided himself on winning those victories without bloodshed. But it came to a point where he had to do his thing. His demeanor, his character, his presence showed that he was an apt man to lead. It was in him. It was just something that was in him. How they say it's in you, not on you. You know. So now we back at the point, most likely, where the small whites who are there on the island of San Domingo are not liking that the blacks and the mulattoes have been freed. So we're probably going to get into what they about to do, or what they were trying to do the same way what the mulattoes were trying to do, was trying to throw upheaval in the island to cause, they wanted slavery to be back. They wanted slavery to be back so that way they could have power. And I'm pretty sure the whites in chapter 8 is going to do the same thing. They're going to want slavery back so they can have their power back. But we're going to read about it and find out. We're going to read about it and find out and see. Now, we're not going to finish chapter 8 today. I'm going to read for about an hour. We will not finish chapter 8 today because it's too long for me to finish, but we'll probably get about halfway through. And then I'm heading to the fishing hole. I might do a little short, I might come back later and show a little video of us, dipping for crawfish. We're gonna dip for crawfish in a ditch on the side of the road and see what we can catch, see what we got going. But yeah, man, let's get it. I hope everybody's ready, man. I hope everybody's up and at 'em. I hope that you had a wonderful, wonderful start. Your eyes have been opened. You've moved your body, got your heart pumping. But let's get down with the routine, man. We're going to work our body, work our mind, and work our body again. That's the routine, the habit that I'm trying to build for myself. And hopefully you want to build one for yourself as well. So that way you can be a better you. You know, I want to still run and play with my children every day. My sons, they beat me up, they jump me, and I got to stay ready. I gotta stay ready for their ass trying to jump me. My boy got some heavy hitters. Good knees. They be throwing good knees and good elbows and good solid hits. Oh man. So I gotta stay ready. They jump from this and that. I gotta stay ready. So you need to stay in shape. And this, if you aren't doing anything, at least do something. This will help you do something. So I asked for 25 things, but since I'm the captain of the ship, I'm going to give you 50. I'm going to give you 50. But I asked you to do 25 things, whatever it is. Today, I'm going to do some jumping jacks, man. I think that's going to be incorporated in the routine. I need to add to it, which I will add to it, but not today. Not today. Maybe later on. But I'm going to give you 50 to start, and then I'm going to give you 50 to end, and that'll be 100 jumping jacks I will have done for this live or this reading session, part 13, and hopefully you can join in with me and get you 100 in. Do 100. But if not, just do the 25. Just do the 25 and start there. Do 25 and start there. So let's get it, man. So we can go ahead and get reading. So we can get reading and get it out the way. Get to reading and get it out the way, man. 25 things. Y'all give me 25 things. Whatever it is. 25 lighters on the dresser. Yes, sir. I got to get paid. So I'm going to do my jumping jacks. Hopefully y'all well, warm, healthy, dry, Let's get it. 25. 1, we do 50. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. My Gerber came off. Oh, no wonder it came off. It was facing down. Can't have that. I'll go ahead and do 25 push-ups too. Shit. Since I did them jumping jacks, I'm feeling it now. Let's give me 25 push-ups too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 of them things, baby. 25 of them things. 25. I gave it 25. 25 push-ups, 50. Whoo, 50 other 50 jumping jacks. Shit. Let's get some more. Then I'm ready to read. I know, I ain't even started. Golly. 1. There we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I thought I heard you reading.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. I give you 100. There you go. I gave you 100 things. I gave you 100 things today. Now we can read. We done worked our body, now let's work our mind. Worked our body, let's work our mind. Let's work our mind with Mr. Toussaint. They say Toussaint had a, man, that little shit I'm doing ain't nothing. They say Toussaint had a rigorous exercise regimen. Toussaint was out there doing this thing. All right. Let's jump into chapter 8. I feel like I'm up more now than rising scripts. So therefore, hopefully, since I'm up more, I did other things I needed to do. I done let my chickens out. I done fed my chickens. I done read rising scripts. Now I should be better. I should be better acquainted with the being able to read. And I should read better, a lot better than I did in the Bible. If it is your first time to the channel, welcome. You come in, like, subscribe, share, tell your people, shallow reading shit, leave a comment in the chat. If it's your first time, if I come to any words that I don't understand or I don't know where they are, I'm going to look them up. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's fine. Be careful. Don't get no black eyes. Hey, don't be kicking each other in the giblets. Don't be kicking each other in the giblets. I was saying, if there's any word I don't understand or I don't know, maybe I feel like I'm pronouncing it wrong, I'm going to take the time and stop and look it up. Whether it be the Terminator, whether it be the Terminator or whether it be the dictionary, the actual dictionary. The quicker way is probably going to be the Terminator. So that way we don't hold up the reading as long. But I'd rather go old school with the dictionary because, one, I always think about, you know what, you still need to keep that skill, because sometimes you might not have the Terminator. I don't want the Terminator there all the time. So being able to look at things and know how to look them up is always good, and having the tools to do so is always good as well. So if the dictionary is available, I'll use that. But let's get into chapter 8, the white slave owners again. This is the Black Jacobins. We're at part 13, the Black Jacobins, Toussaint Louverture and the San Domingo Revolution by C.L.R. James. The Haiti Revolution, Haitian Revolution. Chapter 8, the white slave owners again. Santhanax, as dictatorial and self-willed as ever, dominated the commission and began to pronounce pro-black policy. He loved the blacks, said that he wished he was a black man and lived openly with a mulatto woman. If all the whites had been like Santhanax, the laborers would have lost their anti-white feelings, by which they meant only anti-slavery. For Laveau and Santhanax, they would have done anything. But blacks could not trust the old slave owners. The British bribed, intrigued, and gave money and guns, and the insurrections all over the colony continued. And Santhanax wrote secretly to the directory that the blacks hated the whites, but he understood the reason for their hate. And 3 weeks after he landed, he published a proclamation in Creole, which declared that everyone who was convicted of saying in the markets or elsewhere that the Negroes had not acquired their liberty forever, or that a man could be the property of another man, was a traitor to his country and would be punished accordingly. To reassure the people so sensitive to freedom, he abolished restraint for debt and put at liberty all those who were in prison for this offense. He worked hard to instill into them the necessity for labor, and everybody is free in France, he said, but everybody works. Yet he stood firmly against coercion. Work hard was his advice, but do not forget that no one has the right of forcing you to dispose of your time against your will. He rigorously forbade beating on the plantations, and he instituted schools where blacks were given an elementary education and learnt Greek and Roman history. He sent the sons of the blacks and mulattoes to France to be educated in a special school that the Republic opened for them. And he announced that he would not deliver a commission to anyone who could not sign his name. And thus, in every house in Le Cap, could be seen blacks, men and women, some of 50 years of age, learning to read and write. And in the country district, the laborers begged Santhanax to send them as teachers, even young European children who knew how to read and write. And the blacks knew their ignorance and they're willing to learn from the whites, to be guided by men from France, men like Laveau and Santhanax, to learn from the white children. All they asked was to be rid forever of the fear of slavery. But the British were there spending millions to enslave them once more. They knew that the old slave owners for whom they worked now as free men would make them slaves again at the first opportunity. Yes, sir, come here. Their hope was Toussaint, a black man, ex-slave, with his army of black men, ex-slaves, and all the black laborers of San Domingo had their eyes on him. Come on.
They tie it first?
Put your arms in it first. DJ got his on already?
Yes, sir. These are really easy to put on. These wasn't tight. But mine was. Mine was tight.
You all right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Hold on, let me put your stuff in the back so it's not hanging down. All right, go ahead. Put your headgear on. Toussaint, when Santanax arrived, was second in military ranks to Laveau. He had the confidence of the French government, who sent him presents and letters of congratulation, and understood the education of his sons in Paris. And with Laveau and Santanax, its representatives in San Domingo, he was on the best of terms. The mulattoes in the north were discredited, and Toussaint, with his army and mass support, was the most powerful man in San Domingo. Is it from this moment that dates his tentative ambition to become master of the island? And many are convinced of this, but it is certainly a false view. What is certain is that Toussaint wanted to become commander-in-chief, and now with extreme delicacy he suggested to Laveau that he could help him to get back to France if he wished. The French Constitution of the year 3 had given San Domingo 7 deputies in the 2 houses. The elections were to take place in September 1796, and in August, Toussaint told Laveau that he could get him elected as representative. Laveau had sacrificed his health, his wife, his children, and he needed a rest from the intrigues and factions of San Domingo. The excuse offered was perfect, and Laveau had labored in San Domingo through the years of the Revolution and the invasion by the British. And without one trip to France, he had borne the brunt of the fighting, first against the slaves and then against Spaniards and British as governor and commander-in-chief. His letters to the minister show how much he felt the strain, and he leaped at a chance. He, at any rate, did not suspect Toussaint's motives, or, if he did, bore him no grudge. They remained the closest of friends after Laveau's return to France, and their intimate correspondence continued, and Laveau was always Toussaint's staunchest defender. But Santanax, too, at this same election, though it took place only a few months after his arrival, had himself elected as a representative of the colony in the French Parliament. And one of Toussaint's reasons for suggesting Laveau return was to have a trustworthy representative of the blacks in France. And this was the very reason why Santanax wanted to go back. The political situation had shifted in France since the abolition of slavery without a debate, and the supporters of Negro liberty had good cause to be nervous. Now, Robespierre and the Mountain had maintained power until July 1794, and the terror had saved France. But long before July, Robespierre had gone far enough and was now lagging behind the revolutionary masses. And in the streets of Paris, Jacques Vallée, and Roux were preaching communism, not in production, but in distribution, a natural reaction to the profiteering of the new bourgeois, the new bourgeois. There we go. The new bourgeois. Robespierre, however, revolutionary as he was, remained bourgeois and had reached the extreme limit of the bourgeois revolution. He persecuted the workers. Far more working men than aristocrats perished in this phase of the terror, and in June 1799, the revolutionary armies won a great victory in Belgium. And at once, the continuation of the terror was seen by the public as factional ferocity and not a revolutionary necessity. Right wing and left in the convention combined to strike at the sinister dictator. And when he sent out the call to the people, he could not get the old response. Some of the sections came, but there was a delay. Rain fell, and they went back home again. The revolutionary ardor, which had inspired them since August of 1792, was gone, killed by Robespierre himself. And he seems to have been in constant fear of a split between the extreme revolutionism of Paris and the rest of the country, but destroyed his own left wing and thereby sealed his own doom. The tragedy was that the Paris masses, in leaving him to his fate, were opening the door to worse enemies. Robespierre's successors were the new officialdom, the financial speculators. and the buyers of the church property, and all new bourgeoisie. They were enemies of royalty, which would guillotine them all if it came back, and averted the social equality, but were determined to keep the masses in their place, and willing to ally themselves with the old bourgeoisie, and even some of the aristocracy, and in a joint exploitation and of the new opportunities created by the revolution. When the masses grasped the trend of affairs, they tried twice in 1795 to restart their old power, but the new bourgeois France was too strong for them. They were defeated, and reaction increased. And as it grew, the old slavers crawling out of their prisons and hiding places held up their heads again and clamored for order to be restored in San Domingo and the colonies. And on the morning after, the convention had not been too happy over abolition, and Robespierre seems to have doubted the utility of the colonies at all, and probably with the idea of bargaining with Britain had let it be known that he did not want the colonial question raised, whereat all kept quiet. The lucky Santhanax, Bristow, and therefore enemy of Robespierre, had arrived back in France before Robespierre's fell, and was once more in danger of the guillotine. But with the death of Robespierre, the colonial question came to the fore again, and before the convention was dissolved, Bozy d'Angles praised the magnificent defense of the San Domingo by Toussaint and Regard and their armies, and said that they deserved well of the country. Gouli, a colonial deputy, opposed this resolution without success, but he delivered a long address between the lines of which one could see the clause of restoration, and the convention had this document printed. The new constitution gave France the directory of 5 members and 2 houses, and the council of elders and the council of 500, the 2 bodies elected in the restricted franchise, met in November 1795. The new bourgeoisie dominated both houses, and the Jacobins, weary of and discredited, were in the minority. Vaublanc, who had fled from after August the 10th, and a strong clique were members of the Council of 500, and the immigrant colonists kept up the ceaseless agitation inside and outside of Parliament for the restoration of order in the colonies. What was this order? The blacks had no doubt as to be the kind of order that the immigrant colonists wished to restore. They did not say slavery openly. The revolution was still too near, but Black San Domingo began to hear that Page, who had written the letter of August 11th, and his friend Bruley, Vaublanc, and other notorious enemies of colonial liberty were once more active in France. The blacks could deal with local whites whose speech and or actions hinted at any return to slavery, and the Republic they had always looked upon as their friends, but now, as they heard what was happening in France and heard who were in the new parliament and what they were saying, their doubts grew, and they began to ask all strangers arriving in the colony from France if the Republic was sincere in giving them liberty. The Republic of 1794 had been sincere in giving them liberty, but the Republic of 1796 might be equally sincere in taking it away. And in addition to their clamor for the restoration of order, while blacks and mulattoes under Toussaint and Regard drained away the blood of Britain, the Republic's chief enemy, the maritime bourgeois and the colonists directed their fire on Santhanax as the executioner of the whites and the origin of all the troubles. Santhanax reached San Domingo in May of 1796, but by the time preparations were being made for the San Domingo elections in August, the colonial reaction was making such headway in France that he felt, both in his own defense and for the sake of the blacks, that it would be better if he went back to France as a deputy. Now, the maritime bourgeois and the planters had made an infinite deal of mischief on the colonial question until the Paris masses gave the colony a chance to adapt itself to the new conditions. Now, as soon as they were coming into power again, they began with old greed, dishonest, and tricks. And the mischief that they would cause this time would be as nothing to what they had done before between July 14th, 1789 and August 10th, 1792. When it was all over, they would blame the revolutionaries, and Santonax easily had himself elected. But though he wanted to go, everybody begged him to stay. And San Domingo was still unsettled, and his influence was strong with the blacks. His name was already a talisman, and in an insurrection which took place in the Revolution center of Port-au-Paix, where whites were massacred and the laborers had risen to cries of "Long live Santonax, long live Santonax," obviously the blacks, like horses, dogs, cats, and some wild animals, judged a man not by the color of his skin, but by the way he behaved. British agents, well supplied with money, were always moving among them, stirring up strife and encouraging disorder. And French royalists were doing the same. And the situation was extremely uncertain, and all classes, white and black, asked Santonax not to go. The municipality of Le Cap, mulatto and black officers, Clairvaux, Mousse, and Christophe, Mouzet, and Christophe begged him to remain. And Mouzet, supposed to be an implacable hater of the whites, told Santonax that if he left, he would resign as the colony would. He would resign, and as the colony would not certainly be thrown into disorder. Excuse me. And at a meeting of the commissioner, Raymond, Leblanc, and Garrard told him that if he went, they would not remain behind. They feared for their lives, and thus pressed Santonax, and Santonax stayed. Portrayed in France as the executioner of the whites and disruptor of the colony, he was in reality a rallying center for blacks and whites, so long as they were Republicans. But he was without mercy against old slave owners, and these were the ones who were most clamorous in France. Toussaint too pressed him to stay, and far from having arranged the election of Santonax in order to get rid of him, as is commonly urged, Toussaint told the Directory that the safety of the colony depended upon Santonax being left as commissioner, at least until peace with Britain was declared. Unfortunately, Santonax, true representative of the revolution, was also the agent of the French Republic and sent to ensure that France and not the mulattoes should rule the colony. The mulatto stronghold was the South under Regard, who carried on the war against the British with such skill and vigor as to draw again and again praise even from the English Tory historian. And by 1797, Regard was master of a large part of the South. He had 6,000 men and a detachment of cavalry, and each battalion chief commanded a cantonment with absolute power, carrying out all civil and political functions. And no black held rank above that of captain. And unlike Toussaint, Regard kept the whites in rigid subjection, excluding them from every position of importance. Regard didn't play either. Regard was undoubtedly narrow-minded, and he wore always a brown wig with straight hair to give him the appearance of as close to that of a white man as possible. This sensitiveness to color is usually accompanied in active men by great bitterness against the oppressing race, and the narrowness of Regard's organization and his exclusion of whites and blacks from all positions of power undoubtedly owed something to his personal character. But fundamentally, it lay in the very circumstances of the mulattoes. They were hopelessly outnumbered by the blacks, and they, more than the illiterate blacks, knew about the emigre propaganda and intrigues for the restoration of white supremacy. Toussaint did not trust the whites at all, but the blacks were so backward that he had to use the whites, and the mulattoes were better equipped. Though not all of them were educated, yet there were enough of them to govern. And if they established a mulatto oligarchy, not only past events but future were to prove that the whites at least were the last persons whose complaints should be listened to, should have been listened to. Regard and his followers had abandoned slavery, but they were hard on the black laborers. They made them understand that their freedom was due to the mulattoes, and they confined them to the plantations. And Regard's prisons were filled with whites and blacks in irons, but never a single mulatto. He had as his chief advisor Pinchonet, and they restored cultivation to such an extent that Regard never asked for any financial assistance from the French government and paid for his own ammunition. Yet, he was a true friend to the Republic, and he dismissed all the bribes the British offered him, and unlike Toussaint, shot without mercy all, even mulattoes who intrigued with the British. And whatever Santanac's instructions, he should have left Regard alone, at least until the peace. But overconfident, he tackled Regard without the means to enforce his will. And he had not been long in the colony when he dispatched to the south the commission of three, General Desfano and Ray, two white men, and Leborg, a mulatto. Leborg, it's not Leborg name. Laverne, Lavrgne. LeBurn, there you go. LeBorn, I'll say it like I said, LeBorn. And LeBorn, a mulatto. Desfano was to bring Regard's army under his own control. And the commission was to restore equality among citizens of all color. Santanac's instructions were particularly stringent on this. It was to investigate whether the plot of March 20th had any roots in the South, and it was to arrest Pinchonet and bring him to Le Cap to account for his share of in that conspiracy. Pinchonet, who was an idol of the South and of the mulattoes all over the colony. Toussaint told Santanax not to attempt such a thing. He and Regard respected and indeed had an admiration for each other. And Regard never had any personal jealousy of Toussaint because Toussaint was a Negro and cooperated against the British under Toussaint's orders. Toussaint thought that Santanax should begin by having a conference. Above all, he warned Santanax against sending Ray, who was an enemy of Regard's and had tried to assassinate him and Lequez. Santanax would not listen. Never was an expedition more certain of failure, and its adventures give a useful idea of the social chaos with which Toussaint had to deal. Regard, though suspicious, welcomed the commissioners and treated them with the greatest respect. The commissioners duly noted the power which Regard and his officers exercised. But unmindful of this, wherever they journeyed, they stirred up the laborers against Regard's government, telling them that the mulattoes were oppressing them. Unrest among laborers and soldiers began wherever the commissioners passed. Their private conduct was unsatisfactory. They piled up great expenses, gambled for hours in the private homes at which they stayed, and entertained loose women in a loose way. Regard was engaged to a young woman, Marie Villeneuve, and Ray seduced her, and when Regard came to see him, told him smilingly, Regard, I am going to introduce you to the most beautiful girl in the Keys. But promise me to tell no one. And taking him into the bedroom, he drew the curtains of the bed and showed him Marie Villeneuve, Villeneuve, and Regard, a man of notoriously violent temper, threw himself on Ray, knocked him down, and was about to hurl him over the balcony into the street when the servants rushed in and saved him. Ooh, Ray, ooh, Ray. One of the commissioners stupidly asked Regard what he thought would happen if they arrested Pincinette. Yet Regard and the mulattoes continued to show an exemplary patience, and the delegation attempted an expedition against enemy territory, and Desfonaux acted as chief officer, would not take the advice of the local officers, and his column was badly beaten. And coming back in a temper, he arrested the treasurer of the South, as he had been ordered to do, and also arrested a mulatto officer for some offense. And while this officer was being conducted towards the harbor, he met the group of his own soldiers. He made a dash for safety, got safely among his own men, and simmering insurrection began. The European soldiers and the National Guard stood by the government delegation, but the mulattoes all took the part of Regard. That night, Regard's brother raised the black laborers who, however hard their lot, would always follow anyone who they thought was for them against slavery. Now, Beovis, knowing that the commissioners were severely to blame, but recognizing their authority as representatives of the government, tried to make peace between the two parties. And the mulattoes refused to listen to him and said that they would wait for Regard. Henry and Desfonaux fled, and the mulattoes and the blacks, all in full insurrection, massacred scores of whites, who, of course, were all for the commission. LeBorn and Curvassou, another European officer, were only saved because Beovis, although powerless to stop the excitement, never left them for a single moment. Regard was the only man who could have restored calm, but Regard would not come. And he was found in an expression. How terrible is the rage of the people. And when he heard of the massacre in Les Cayes, all he would do was to say that this over and over again. At last, Curvassou and Lebeau gave authority to Regard to reestablish quiet. Regard issued a proclamation stating that he had been officially put in control of the government, and immediately calm was restored. Now Lebeau and Curvassou left, and Regard remained master of the South. He and his people had been grossly provoked, but they were guilty of rebellion, and Santenax refused to receive the delegations that the municipality of Les Cayes sent to him to explain the unfortunate occurrences. The South tried Room, the other commissioners, and Room also refused to listen. The municipality sent 2 whites to Paris to plead its case, and when after some delay these 2 reached Paris, they turned against Regard and became his accusers instead of his defenders. Santenax reorganized the geographical division of San Domingo so as to bring 2 districts of the South within the jurisdiction of the government, and the inhabitants, spurred on by Regard, drove out the officers with whom Santenax sent to take charge. Now Santenax sent a condemnatory proclamation. The citizens of Les Cayes dragged it through the streets at the tail of an ass, and Pingenot, elected among others as representative to the French Parliament from the South, was refused permission to sit when he reached Paris. The breach between the South under Regard and the government, both in Saint Domingo and in France, was complete, but Regard sent a representative to put his case to Toussaint. Santenax heard of it and wanted to have him arrested. Toussaint refused and protected Regard's man. And thus, in the last months, of 1796, and at the beginning of 1797, Toussaint was in close relationship with Regard, who was in a very uncertain position. And the British had a good opportunity during all of the confusion and might have conquered the colony then. They have even claimed that about this time, Regard entered into negotiations with them. However, that may be, the mulattoes, repelled by the Republic, drew nearer to the blacks under Toussaint. But while Regard and his people looked upon Santenax as their worst enemy, Toussaint maintained the friendliest relations with the commissioner. Sought after by blacks, mulattoes, and whites, the suave and discreet Toussaint was gradually becoming the one man of San Domingo on whom everything hinged. Let me see how far I'm gonna go. I'll read one more page. One more page and that's it. Let's see what time it is. One more page. I can feel it. Oh. The sleep monster. We're going to stop at the bottom of the next page. Santenax continued to rule with energy, and his other colleagues, except Raymond, left him. And Rome was in Spanish San Domingo. Santenax intrigued among the black generals, but solely for his own power and without any designs against their liberty. Rochambeau, a white general, objected to the wealth and dominance of the black generals, and Santenax sent him home at once. Against white arrogance, or the white emigres, Santenax was as fierce an enemy as any black laborer. He wanted to sweep the aristocrats off the face of the earth, and Toussaint used to send assistance to his old master in America, Bayou de Libertas, and he wanted to get him back, but bowed to the law against emigres, and Santenax was especially pleased at this instance of Toussaint's civism. Santenax held frequent revolutionary demonstrations and made the children in the schools spend many hours singing revolutionary hymns. But he worked also at the restoration of the colony, and Le Camp was partially rebuilt. The cultivation began to flourish, and on a plantation in the North Plain, a little Negro named Bootsoulja had the confidence of both blacks and whites. He got the laborers to work on the promise of the fourth part of the profit of the produce, and he raised the capital to begin production again. The experiment was a great success, and plantations were farmed out by the government on this new principle. Toussaint encouraged his generals and other nobilities to adopt this system, by which everybody, including the state, prohibited. And Dessalines in time had 30 plantations farmed out to him. Toussaint popularized certain slogans by repeating them over and over again. I do not wish to be any coast Negro was one of them, and referring to the primitive needs of the Africans from the slave coast. The guarantee of the liberty of the blacks is the prosperity of agriculture, was another saying always on his lips, which spread among the blacks. And banditry, idleness, murder, these things still continued as they continued in France until the advent of Bonaparte. But torn and devastated as San Domingo still was, excuse me, the colony had definitely taken an upward turn by the early months of 1797, and Toussaint was appointed commander-in-chief and governor on the recommendation of Santenax, who installed him in Le Cap with an imposing ceremony. The name of Santenax was in the mouth of every black. Here, astonishing sight, was a white man who protected the liberties and privileges of all, laborers and generals alike, as if he had once been a slave himself. We'll stop it there. We'll stop it there in chapter 8. The white slave owners again. We got about 6 pages left. 6 pages left. We'll come back and read that in part 14. In part 14, we'll pick back up in chapter 8. The white slave owners again. And we'll read the last 6 pages. Oh man, I'm suddenly feeling sleepy. Man, I'm suddenly feeling sleepy. But I'm still going to the fishing hole. That is the plan. To the fishing hole I go. Anyway, yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I read better than the rising scripts, but hey, practice makes perfect. The more you read, the better you'll be. And you have all that you need to succeed. So let's succeed, everybody. Let's succeed. We all got jobs to do. You have everything you need. You have your gifts. You have your powers. You have all that you need. Learn how to use them. Don't abuse them. Learn how to use them. And let's succeed, man. Let's succeed. That was a Sea of Pages for today by C.L.R. James. Man, I'm feeling, so sluggish right now. So sluggish. So sluggish. But I got to push through. I have to persevere, and we still have a workout to do. So 25 things, man. Hey, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you, everybody that came in, left a comment. If you're new, when you come back later, catch you on the back end. Like, comment, subscribe, share, tell your people. Let's read, baby. SHILO out here reading shit. We doing shit, building shit, learning shit, trying to be better than we was yesterday. Going to be better than we was yesterday. Because we have all that we need to succeed. Who we? What it is. Anyway, let's work our body right quick. Hopefully I can get rejuvenated, re-energized. You know what's wrong? I hate when I feel this way. I hate when I be reading and it's like that sleep monster just get on me. Get on me. So I'm going to do 50 jumping jacks. We're going to try to go ahead and do the 100 things again. I'm going to try to do 100 things again. 100, baby. Hopefully that 100 will wake me up. Otherwise, I need to get up. Oh, shit. But anyway, 25 things. That's what I ask of you. Let's just continue to build a habit. Let's try to build this habit together, man. What you gonna do? Let's build the habit. Oh, man. What you gonna do? Shit. Let's work it out. Let's stop bullshitting and work it out. 50 jumping jacks, 25 push-ups, and 25 raises. That's what we're gonna do. Let's get it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Oh man. 50, 25. 25 of them. Let's get it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, almost 11, 12. Oh, I knew you was gonna do it.
Get you, Lee.
13, 14, 15. Get up higher. Get up higher on my back. There you go. 15. Not stand. I said get up higher. There you go. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Oh, Lord. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24,
Why am terrible?
25. Boy, I ain't no cowboy.
No.
Last 25 things.
So you're gonna do like.
Yeah. I'm gonna do forward so I can work my chest. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can pull that big fish in. Yeah. Go get your boots on so I can go and get ready so we can go. Go. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Put your sweaters on too. You might be cold by that water. Well, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. That's 100 things. I gave you 100 things. Both times they put me at 200. 200 things, man. And I'm gonna get ready to head to the fishing hole now. 200 things. I hope you did something. Oh shit. I hope you did something. Something is better than nothing, man. Something is better than nothing. So keep pushing, though. Everybody, keep on pushing. Let's keep smashing. Once again, yeah, smashing through life. Because you have all that you need to succeed, man. We got to be better than we were yesterday. We have to be. We must be. We have to change our thought processes. We have to have an insurrection and revolution in our own minds, burn down the plantations and propaganda that you have built up in your own minds. Let's get it. We got to get it. We got to get it in order for us to make changes, in order for us to be better. So, hey, till next time, catch me back next time on part 14, I think.
14. Ooh, damn.
I think it's part 14. Let me see. Because you have.
But you was catching it on that one?
No, I was just looking at to see what number I'm on. So catch me next time on part 14 where we pick back up in chapter 8. Chapter 8 of the book. The Black Jacobins, the Toussaint Louverture and the San Domingo Revolution by. You go make y'all a sandwich. Go get y'all a bag. Go get y'all a little thing together so y'all don't want to hear nothing about y'all hunger when we get out there in the water. Get them chips. Get y'all some fruits. Make you a sandwich. Get some fruits. See a page is led to us by C.L.R. James. Now I'm going to try to see if I can catch some fish, man. Catch some fish. Oh, man. Even though I feel tired, maybe once I get on that water, I'll feel better. Oh, man. Maybe it's the dreams and all that shit draining me. My dreams be vivid. I'd be like, what? Oh man, what? Hey, but we out here, man. I'm out here. Keep pushing everybody. Shalom. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Get something done. Go do something. Go do your adventure or something, man. Yeah, shit. And I'm gonna keep pushing. A little bit at a time. One success at a time. Small success and work our way to big successes. Shalom. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Oh, this dry. I'm out here. I'm out. Shalom. Stop it, Southern.